Hey, my name is Timothy Williams, aka Miles Creed, and I'm finna take y'all basically on a journey from the beginning of my childhood to present day. It's basically where I grew up at. Dumas Court, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. That's where I'm from. I was born with a condition called micromethalmy, and I'm gonna tell you how I, learned to basically use that as a way to uplift people and basically a way to show people that there's nothing that can hold you back as long as you put your work in. We're all given the same tools in life, and we need to know how to use them. When I started going to Northfield Elementary School, I was just coming from Bradley, and I didn't really know that many people, so my biggest thing was kind of letting people know who I was. But then again, I had so many family members that were already down here, so they kind of tried to box me in and think that, okay, my family sells drugs or whatever, they do drugs, they smoke, whatever. They thought I did the same. So it was almost like kind of trying to build my own personality and let them know that I'm not like them. I do it my own thing basically. And as the years went on, I built a friendship with a lot of people. Was known all over the school just for doing different stuff, just always hanging out. I was always the person that you could go to about anything. I tried to make friends with everybody.
Well, he was a good student. He always behaved himself very well. Always participated in class. I had him in music, and he always participated well. Seemed to enjoy music class. If he had any struggles, he really, accommodated well for anything. Just kind of followed the other students around.
He was very intuitive. He wanted to make sure that he had everything correct. But some of the things that I had to do for Timothy, of course, I didn't have to do for the other children. So one of those things was all of his work or anything that I passed out to him had to be magnified. And then he, that way he could see the work to the best of his capability at that time. But as a student, he was on it. He loved math. I remember at that time, math was probably his best or easiest subject for him.
All right, when I started middle school, coming into another new school that I had never been to, it's still having to make friends all over again. But then I had band to kind of fall back on, because I knew I was going straight into band from 6th grade. So it was a big thing for me, is I got to learn that being in band was not something just for lame people. It was cool. It was something to where, we're actually able to play pop music, new stuff, rap songs and everything. So that was where I realized, basically we're an instrumental. And then the other band instruments are playing the lyrics that are normally rap, but now it's instruments. So I feel that's why I really got into instrumentals and stuff. And then making beats for people on the table and lunch was big. So I always used to make beats for everyone. I was always the go-to dude with the pencils, or I tried to make everything different. I would use my knuckles, or I would use my fingernails, just all different kinds of sounds that the average person just wasn't doing on the lunch table. So it's just I was carrying that whole thing for 7th and 8th grade, and just became known as, oh man, he's making dope beats, and he's good at that type of stuff. He can always hang with anybody because he's funny, and he also can make beats for everybody.
Student, he was, I think he was inspirational for the other kids that were here because of the things that he was able to do in class. He was sort of a role model, if you will, for some kids, because if you think you have limited ability and then you see the things that Tim at that time, now Miles, was doing, you're going to sort of be inspired by that. And I think he was an inspiration for the teachers as well, because and I also think that the teachers did not cut him any slack. And he probably would agree with me that they held him to the same standard as they did every other student, and they expected him to do his work, do it to the best of his ability, and to learn as much as he possibly could while he was here. I think everybody recognized the potential he had, and I think he just had to realize that potential for himself.
When I first started high school, once again, elementary school and middle school, it was all new people, but I feel high school was a lot easier because I had more people from my elementary school that I haven't seen since elementary school now at my high school. So I didn't have to make that many new friends, but obviously it's a bigger place and you got a lot more people. but I had already established kind of who I was as a person and, you know, drumming and everything, but they tried to make excuses talking about if I ever learned how to march or whatever, I would fall in a hole on the football field, just random stuff that would just, like a hole was going to open up randomly on the football field and I would just fall through or something. So it just made me realize that, you know, I don't want to follow behind someone that's going to hold me back. So I put up with it for the whole freshman year. But going into sophomore year, I realized, like, I'm not going to continue to do this. So I confronted them about it because they were making excuses like I only wanted to practice drumming. But, it was just excuses for them to try to kind of not let me be in band or whatever. So I told them, I went off, told them I didn't want to do this no more. I wasn't finna just play behind somebody as far as playing the cymbals, not ever getting to touch the drums, really. So they told me an alternative was me being in jazz band. And I could play the drum set in jazz band. So I started playing drum set, rotating with different people, like my friends and stuff.
But I tell you what, as soon as we got you on that drum set and you found what you really wanted to do and what you were made to do, everything just clicked, and it was fantastic from there on out. I know the band director that was here just loved every second of being with you, and your energy and your positivity to how you approach the music was just contagious to everyone. And we certainly all have a lot of respect for what you do, and your natural talents just were able to shine through, and we love that. We absolutely love that. And we're glad that we could be a small part in all this. So.
Kind of towards the end of high school, I was kind of just like, what am I gonna do from here? Basically, high school I was now like doing shows, just drumming. I met like these other people that at the time I didn't know would ever manage me, but they saw something in me, so I started performing for them all the time and drumming behind rappers all the time and stuff like that, just getting my name out there. Me and my homies used to just go outside of our old elementary school, Northfield Elementary, at nighttime. They always had like lights and stuff out there, so we would go sit on the swings or sit on like the benches out there and just like talk about life. And every time we would go out there and we would just talk, I was just listening to like stories. I listen to a lot of when people talk. Like I've always been one type of people. I listen to everything you say, and it's like I would just see pictures like in my head as he would be talking, or as I would be talking. I would just be like seeing like pictures and images of like, man, like I see this stuff happening. So one day I just went home and just started like kind of trying to tell a story that that I had kind of told him, and then mixing in like different stuff and seeing how it kind of corresponds with what he said and what I said. It's like putting together stuff, not only stuff that rhymed, but just stuff that was I feel like would catch people's ears. In the place that I currently stay in, I feel like it's kind of been the one that's most second to most known stories, because we got a lot of people to come. They got to take if they bring instruments, they got to carry the instruments down the stairs into my house, then up the stairs to the little practice studio we have up there. Like with rap jam sessions, like I have a lot of different bands come over and they jam while I rap, and sometimes I drum and rap, which is like the whole Anderson .Paak type thing. So trying to really master that. So he's definitely mastered it. I want to definitely be up there, not be him, but be in that type of category where I can play instruments and rap. So I feel like my family never really pushed me to do the stuff that everybody said that was going to be beneficial. Even when I took piano lessons as a kid, like I was getting really good at the piano, but because I said I wanted to stop, they were just like, okay, and they just let me stop. I just feel like if I would have had my parents to push me, I know a lot of kids don't want that, but I feel like if they would have pushed me, I could have been like, maybe a young Prodigy possibly. Because that's just something that everything in music was just big to me. I just practiced and practiced and practiced. But I gave up the piano lessons just out of nowhere. And I guess drums became huge to me because it was something that I didn't need anybody to teach me how to do. Like if I was just sitting at the house, I'd just beat on stuff. I was always good at making beats on the table. So I was like, let me just, drum with some drumsticks, see what I could do. I started learning all kinds of stuff, like just by listening to Earth, Wind & Fire, Michael Jackson, James Brown. Like I just felt like I was getting really good at drum set. And so ironically about getting the opportunity to perform at the Lil Yachty and Black Bear Spring 2018 concert at MT. And when the show came, we performed. It was a big experience. But when we got off the stage, I told my mom, I was like, and I want to meet one of them. But Qualls was like, he was like, we can meet them, but he's gonna, we're not probably gonna be able to just meet them like right now. So I just stayed and waited. And when the drummer Black Bear's drummer got down off the stage, I talked to him, asked him like, could he hold on for a second? I was talking to him, and he was like, man, I was wondering who was up there before me drumming. You're great and everything. He was like, you're a big inspiration after seeing you up there doing that. And I was just like, that's great to hear from such like an amazing drummer, and he's already out there in the industry. And we took some pictures, and he gave me his number and told him to hit him up when I got a chance. But that night, he had posted me on his Instagram and told people like, this is an adult. Gave like a long story talking about how like I was a big inspiration to him, and this is what we do this stuff for, to meet people like this. And he didn't know who I was, so he didn't tag me. Somebody just happened to be following him and tagged me, and I texted him and told him that like that's me. So he tagged me, and we ended up talking and everything, and talking about like different music stuff. And he was able to help me in like any way that he could, as far as like letting me know, okay, like you got to do this. And this was before I was rapping, just drumming. I think his name is Clue World on Instagram. Alright, how I met the homie Kevin James is we started working after, I kept in contact with Qualls after the spring concert. And I told him I was trying to get into, different beats, because the producer I was working with, he's dope, but he's more like trap beats and stuff. And I wanted, more beats like Outkast and Kanye, because, they're big inspirations as far as rap and lyrics and stuff like that, but they also have some crazy beats. It's not like just the typical stuff, with Kanye with the samples, and just Outkast, and just with the laid back type vibes, also Kendrick and Cole, just that type of stuff. I wanted to get into more of that type of rap, because I felt like I didn't want to just keep on making party songs. So he sent me 2 different producers that he thought would be good, and I hit up Kev, and he was like, he said he was busy at the time, so he was gonna hit me back up. He hit me back up, and I talked to him about the same thing. I told him I wanted like more beats that also had samples and different things like that in it. So he sent me a beat pack, and in the beat pack it had maybe like, I said like 10 beats. And I hit him up like literally that night and was like, man, I already got something for 2 of these songs and stuff. So he was like, for real, you should come in sometime soon. So I scheduled something. It's like my first time working with a different producer. So the vibe was different. Look, this verse goes out to all the women that's been brought down by villains. I'm doctoring flows over instrumentals, cause my queens need some internal healing. If I could give them no blue pill to take back their innocence, how many of us would be here in a sense of, did they give it up because they was ready, or did a nigga sneak and tease the kitty like Jerry?
Miles comes in just about every day, and we kind of talk about what we want to do, what we want to accomplish, what we want to fix, what we need to do. And we get a little outline of where we should go, in what direction we should go, and then he just gets in the booth and spits fire, and then and then I mix it down, and then we put stuff out. Pretty simple, like keep it simple.
And performing, showing our skills and our talent in performing, letting you hear the music live and vibe out and stuff like that. We should get paid for that. I feel like every artist should get paid for it. You don't gotta get paid for every show. Some things are charity events, but if you charging to get in, then hey, pay us what we're worth. And that's why I started doing a lot of shows in Nashville. They pay you. Sometimes they try to get over also, but I did a lot of shows in Nashville. I've done 2 performances in Atlanta, and it's like performing in the A is a different vibe, because that's what people are up there for, music. That's what they say we're Music City, but we're trying to branch away from the whole saying that we're country music, because technically we are. That's what makes it pop. But we got Starlito, we got Young Buck, but technically we still are country music. So Atlanta is where it's where we popping at. I mean, that's where rap is popping for sure. Especially they got the torch last year and technically the beginning of this year. So performing up there is always different. We performed on Super Bowl weekend. There was some complications, but we still shook it. We shook the other show. I just want to know when I hit different cities and different places that should maybe one day different countries. Just like when we hit those places that we make a huge impact to where, we're going to be remembered. So when we come back, when I came back and did another show in Atlanta, some dude was like, oh, I remember you last time. That's cool. I've only performed twice and we already made an impact on somebody. So I feel like if we keep grinding like that and constantly keep hitting different stages and, you make your impact, definitely shout out your Instagram. Make sure not only do you shout it out, but you network, you get people to follow you, get artists to follow you. If you see a talent you like, reach out. Don't be a hater and be like, oh no, I'm going to reach out to him or her because she may pass me. You should be confident in yourself. Nobody's going to pass you. Y'all can benefit. So I feel like me doing all these shows in different areas are key to success. And key to success in my head and my thought process is you can't succeed if you're not looking to try to bring someone else up with you. And that's facts.